Hey guys, what's going on? So, just a little recap of the game. I thought it was a pretty exciting game. It wasn't as high scoring as I thought. I thought both teams would score a little bit more. I thought even with a good defensive turnout, some turnovers would lead to some more points scored. It did at some points, but I think it was just really a defensive game. A lot of fluke plays that happened. You have that punt return from the 49ers. It really kind of gifted the Chiefs a touchdown there. I mean, I don't think you can really do much about it. Maybe just fall on the ball right away, but it just kind of bounced off the guy's leg when he wasn't looking on what was supposed to be a fair catch. I think the 49ers looked good. I don't think there was any standout moments. I think Jennings had a really good game. He probably would have been the MVP candidate had the 49ers won. Purdy looked good. He didn't make any mistakes, no interceptions. I think he did all he really could in this game. Maybe a few times he didn't exactly hit guys when he should have, but I think with the pass rush that he had, I think he handled it pretty well. Mahomes, I think he looked really good at the end of the game. I just wasn't impressed by his overall performance. Threw an interception, looked really shaky the first half of the game. Ended up being the Super Bowl MVP. For what he's done for the Chiefs in his career, he deserves it. I don't know if he really deserves it this game. I think Hardman easily could have got it, made a lot of big catches, big receptions, winning drive. He easily could have got it, but he's not a big name guy. He didn't even get any chance to talk at the end of the game. They let Kelsey talk, which I just don't think he deserved to have a platform at all. But I mean, that's kind of more of the marketing and showbiz of the NFL. And I think even though the 49ers played well, I don't think they capitalized, and I think what could go wrong really did go wrong. I think even leading up before the Super Bowl, you have the practice fields dilemma. The 49ers, because they were the away team, they weren't given priority for the best practice field, which I think is kind of silly. So they were kind of forced out in the rain. I don't understand why it couldn't have been 50-50. And a lot of the 49ers injuries, I think, could be accounted to that. Same thing with the fire alarm going off in the middle of the night. I think the 49ers overall had a great year. They have a great team. I think this is really just the beginning, not the end for their team and for their franchise. But I think it'd be tough to say that there wasn't some red flags this season. Even in the playoffs, it's really even amazing the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl to begin with. Obviously, it looked like the Packers were going to take them out early in the playoffs. They came back and won that game, held on at the end. The Lions just looked like they were really going to just blow out the 49ers. They somehow turned it around. I still don't understand why. And in the Super Bowl, it was a really close game, fought all the way to the end. There's just several little things that could have gone differently in the 49ers' favor, and they're the Super Bowl champions. Even looking at the regular season, I think they had a good season, but just maybe weren't that team this year when you look at how they played against the Ravens, and then kind of a few fluke losses against the Browns, the Vikings, the Bengals. So I think they're close. They're just not there yet. That's why I think in the future the stars are bright. But, I mean, if you compare the 49ers to the Chiefs had a lot of red flags this year too. I will say the Chiefs, I think, had a lot more ease in the playoffs. They beat the Dolphins pretty easily, and even though the Ravens and the Chiefs was a close game, I think the Chiefs ultimately were in control the whole amount of time. And they just have so much experience in the Super Bowl. I think that's why they're able to hang on to this game against the 49ers. And the 49ers didn't capitalize. The Chiefs did at the end of the game, but they're just right there. And that's why I think the Chiefs dynasty has come to an end. I think they ended on a good note, but I just don't see, with kind of some of the behavior of the players and how they've looked this year, I don't think they're on the upward trajectory. I think they're on the downward spiral compared to how they looked last year. And I think the Chiefs looked worse than when they beat the 49ers in 2020. So I think next year it's a completely different story. The 49ers play the Chiefs in Week 16 at home of next year's season, and I think it's very likely we'll see a better 49ers team, a more experienced 49ers team that wipes them out. You have so many guys returning for the 49ers. I think even the few guys that are free agents are going to be re-signed. They'll have fairly the same team with a few upgrades. I think a lot of their key players probably could play another 5 years in their prime. But I mean, I think just kind of focusing on the positive, you look how the 49ers played this year. I think for everyone, it was a good improvement. But I do think Kyle Shanahan looks better. I was impressed with the 49ers play calls through the majority of the game. I think that trick play was really good. Surprised the 49ers went for it on fourth down when they're in field goal range, ended up working in their favor. I think that shows a lot of improvement for Kyle Shanahan. And I think this might be the best thing for the 49ers because they could just kind of really take over next year and the year after that. I think the next 5 years, the 49ers have a lot of potential to do a lot of damage. And I think even for someone that like Brock Purdy, he's their franchise quarterback. I think he has a lot of room to shine. And I think if he has a long career, I mean, he could get a lot of Super Bowl wins. He's getting a lot of good experience with this season, with last season. This is just the beginning for him. I think they could easily become the best team in the NFL again. 49ers would have to win one more to be tied for the most Super Bowl wins. So really excited for that. I'll probably do some more breakdowns of the 49ers this season and next. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you later.